Makoto Shinkai has been on a roll lately. With the successful release of Wedding Review and the worldwide phenomenon that was Your Name, he captivated the world twice and introduced a whole generation of people to anime. No other anime directors besides Miyazaki has done this before. I guess the only exception is the new Demon Slayer movie, but we don't talk about that. Nonetheless, with those two movies under his belt, he has pretty much cemented himself as one of the greatest modern anime directors of this century. However, the movie that I want to talk about in this video is very different comparing to his latest works. It didn't have to rely on any supernatural or weather-related themes to tell a love story. And unlike its predecessor, 5 cm per second, which was Shinkai's first attempt at making a sappy romance film, it delivered everything that movie had lacked, which was the ability to tell a much more personal and intimate, yet thoughtful and satisfying story about the human condition, that film being The Garden of Words. And the aspect that drew me in the most about this film wasn't the story or the characters, it was Shinkai's use of animation and music that brought this movie to life. From the incredible greenery of the garden to the concrete jungle of Tokyo, and even down to the fucking food, man. Like, the food in this anime looks so fucking good. Holy sh! And all these shots are accompanied by the simple yet methodical piano ballads that just puts you at ease. And because of this, it helped elevate the movie to a higher standard and allowed it to stand out amongst Shinkai's greatest works. And the thing that, in my opinion, defines the whole of The Garden of Words is this one musical piece titled simply The Afternoon of a Rainy Day. But before I start, I think I need to give some context to this scene for those who haven't watched the movie yet. So, the movie is about these two, Takao and Yukino. The two of them are from very different worlds. Takao is still in high school and has a passion for feet, while Yukino on the other hand is from the adult world and has adult responsibilities. But despite coming from two very different worlds, they somehow managed to meet by coincidence in a garden under a rainy sky. As they started to meet more and more frequently, they started to learn and understand more about each other. They realized how similar they are to one another, but I have to also note that their relationship is cemented in that gazebo under the rainy sky. As the rainy season came and passed, they stopped meeting and both of them started to miss each other's company. While they are on this hiatus, Takao held multiple jobs to fund his fetish and grow into an adult. However, Yukino was stuck. Without Takao, she felt that her life stagnated. Later on, we found out that Yukino is actually a teacher from Takao's school, and the reason she was absent at school was because of a trauma she developed from some seniors bullying and harassing her. And as a result, she found refuge in the garden, where she met Takao. After Takao found out about the bullying, he took it upon himself to be a man, to be an adult, and to be Yukino's white knight, and confronted the bullies. But instead, he got his ass handed to him. And after that, Yukino and Takao met up, and that's the build up to the climax, and also the start of the piece. So, the piece starts with a very slow and simple arpeggio. If you don't know what arpeggio is, it's basically a chord that's broken down into a sequence of notes that is played or sung in an ascending or descending order, just like this. And this arpeggio is used to create this feeling of a calm heartbeat, or it could also be the rain trickling down from the sky, which is also really fitting for the scene. We get to see a short montage of a rainy Tokyo before the scene switches to our main characters. And when Yukino and Takao are in the same shot, we hear the first use of strings in the whole entire movie. The viola and the cello are in essence Yukino and Takao. Both of the instruments are harmonizing with each other and working in conjunction to simulate the atmosphere of Yukino's apartment at that time. Instead of telling us how they feel, the cello and the viola are expressing their emotions and feelings for them. While this is happening musically, we get to see the two of them eating, chatting, and laughing, basically enjoying each other's company. After everything they've went through, they're finally getting the break that they deserve. The combination of the piece and the scenes masterfully builds up a sense of anticipation, also known as a climax. And for this scene, the climax is Takao's confession. And when he does confess, the viola dominates the entire piece, letting us hear into Yukino's heart. And this coincides with the camera work and letting us see Yukino's surprised and flustered reaction. You get this sense of, holy shit, it's happening, it's actually happening, it's really happening, holy shit. Everything is going well, until you realize that the phrase is still going. The phrase could have ended here by now, but the phrase keeps going while we waited for her answer. This imperfect cadence creates a sense of anticipation and hesitation for her answer, and in the back of our minds, we know what the answer is going to be. And sure enough, the answer was no. And this slight pause right before the crash of the cellos is so effective, and especially when it's working in conjunction with the camera, because you can physically see Takao's face take in Yukino's answer, and afterwards, the cello dominates the piece, resembling Tako's emotions of anger, sadness, and confusion. Then the piece ends on this very hopeful arpeggio. As it slowly dies off, it signifies the end of the piece, and also the end of what could have been. Besides that, something that I don't need to mention at all is the animation and the art style. It's a Makoto Shinkai film, and despite it almost being 8 years old now, the animation still lives up to the standards of Shinkai films. It's something that I can't describe in words, and even if I try, I won't be able to do it justice. You need to watch the film to be able to appreciate the animation. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another 2 months.